tell people can they come watch? When will they be able to watch all this stuff?
I believe in September. So it's called Our Way of Life. In our language, it's Hakustei. Yeah, look for it. I'm excited.
September 29th.
Good job,
Perfect.
Seth. Look at that.
Thank you. I'm worried about Samantha because she walks around my property like this.
Plugging her nose.
And I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, there's just a lot of smells in Alaska that I've become nose blind to. And I forget everything smells.
Her compost pile is what it is.
Yeah.
This is the MeatEater podcast coming at you shirtless, severely bug bitten, and in my case, underwearless.
We hunt the MeatEater podcast.
You can't predict anything.
Brought to you by First Light. When I'm hunting, I need gear that won't quit. First Light builds no compromise gear that keeps me in the field longer. No shortcuts, just gear that works. Check it out at firstlight.com. That's FIRSTLITE.com. Welcome, everybody. If you are a regular listener to the show, you first met, at least from this podcast standpoint, you first met Heather Douville sitting in this kitchen.
Yeah.
Or whatever you call it, this main area. A year
Exactly.
ago, Heather Douville on social media, AK Moosey, she came on the show. We talked a bunch about sea otter hunting, her life growing up, sewing fur, all kinds of things. And now, a year later, Heather's back. She came over in her, what she calls a skiff, which we would call a large vessel. And she's brought her father, Mike. Would you like to introduce your father?
Sure. This is my dad. His traditional name is Gitwain. English name is Mike. Look up to him in so many ways, and I'm so grateful that he's here today. We came over in his skiff, which your kids love, by the way.
Yep, they walk
They're
all around.
putting in their order for
We need one.
for one.
It's got a little bit of a like a Navy SEAL undercover. It's all black.
So he paints it
So when
black,
why?
so it blends in,
Oh,
with the beach and
Yeah.
That
makes
He
sense.
just put a fresh coat of paint on it this year.
Not just any black, it's flat black.
Got it. Not gloss black.
not shiny.
Mike, the thing that surprised me to hear, and I tried to argue out of it when I heard that you knew the guy that built this place.
That's correct.
And I thought to myself, he must mean that the Seth's A-frame, because I hear about the people that built the A-frame. I never heard anything about. We only know back 2 owners. But our neighbor, Ron Layton, who passed away a year ago, is the one that introduced us to the area. And Ron Layton would talk about, he grew up in Ketchikan. Ron Layton would talk about the people that we bought from, the people they bought from, and then a guy who was very tough. And Ron pays no compliment to anybody. Might the very tough person be the person you know that raised children here?
Yeah, that's Rory Byfoss. He grew up, I'm not sure where he grew up, in Myers-Chuck maybe, but I know he built a home here with this house when he got married. He married Marion, and she was from Myers-Chuck.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a pretty stout boy, and he's still fishing.
Huh.
I actually have a picture of his boat in my phone I took a couple of weeks ago. Got to ask him about, just to make sure I knew what I was talking about, but he did build this house, yes.
In the 80s.
I think 70s. When I first met him, he had a boat called the Isis. It was a double-end wood boat, but now he's got a fiberglass boat that is also the Isis.
What's the word you're saying?
ISIS.
Isis.
Oh, what does that mean? I mean, I know the meaning.
It's spelled like is.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I sent it to you. I think there's like a mythology tied to it, but
Got it.
hmm But yeah, he had 2 daughters.
See, I had it. My
Or he has 2
recollection from
daughters.
Ron is that he had 2 sons.
No, 2 girls.
Did he lived here with those girls?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, for a while, and then he eventually moved to Myers, Chuck, and he built a nice log cabin there. I think he sold it, but anyway,
So what was he doing when he lived here?
he was probably fishing.
Commercial fishing.
You know, like trolling for salmon.
Yeah, trolling and long line for. I know he fished black cod for many years, halibut,
Okay.
and in the winter, troll for king salmon and long line for yellow eye.
Got it. Oh, long line for yellow eye.
Yeah.
So Ron that I keep talking about, he had a halibut long line license and did that for a while. He had a troller as well. Then down the beach a little bit was Mel Fairbanks.
Yeah.
He trolled salmon and ran shrimp pots
Right.
for business.
I know Ron Layton. He was on a regional advisory council for the federal one. And he was living in Kazan for a while. Then he moved to Saltry Cove.
Yep. And then moved to Craig.
Uh,
Thorn Bay.
Yeah.
Yep. So you knew Ron.
Yeah.
Did you ever did you ever have any kind of confrontations with Ron?
No.
Oh.
No, we got along fine.
Yeah, us too. But we got along good through confrontation.
No, he was easy to get along with. We all get along with each other on the council,
Okay.
and we meet twice a year,
Yep.
and they're generally 3-day meetings. So no, it's fine.
He was a dear friend of ours, and like I said, we bought this from being friends with Ron, and he called us one day and told us this was for sale. And when I had been to his place and stayed with him and Joan, if I looked over in this direction, I wasn't paying any particular attention. And when he called and said it was for sale, we just bought it without looking at it, out of being buddies with him. And he was the one that showed us all about anything, right? Like how to do all the kind of stuff up here that you need to do was all taught by Ron. And then when his wife passed away, he didn't want to be out here anymore. And moved out and did what's kind of an odd practice here is Seth's place was like this, my place was like this, Ron's place was like this. The odd practice is when you sell it, it seems people don't move out. They just walk away and you buy their possessions. Like there's no moving out. Ron didn't move out.
What did you acquire when you bought it? What's
That
the most
hat?
memorable
Oh, no, you
thing?
No, I
found
found this on the beach.
Found the hat.
When we bought the A-frame, there was like totes of clothes and just like personal items.
Cool. You
Yeah,
made
we
it pack
burned-
when you came here.
We burned
Show
most of
up.
everything, but yeah, everything. I mean, we got rid of most of it. Most of it was just old, moldy, and tore up.
I believe Ron was a policeman in Ketchikan for some
That's
time.
right. He was a detective.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't. That's not true.
No, I believe
Oh.
it is. I just didn't know him before. So,
Oh, he was a door gunner. He was a door gunner in Vietnam.
yeah. That's
He had
pretty
been
good.
shot down 2 times in Vietnam. Yeah.
Didn't you say he had a great time there?
That was the thing we used to laugh about Ron, is he was the only guy we knew that had just like seemed to have nothing but a good time. Good time when he was in Vietnam.
One of my friends that lives in Cape was a crew chief on Huey in Vietnam as well.
When
I asked him, why weren't you a door gunner? He said, well, we had a guy that was better at it than me. So,
but see, no, because Ron, I feel like a crew chief is at that time, the crew chief is on the left or right door. I can't remember. I thought it was something like that. Either way, he had a heck of a time. Later, I went to Vietnam for a visit. And growing up, like my dad was a World War II guy, but most of my buddies' dads were Vietnam guys. I went to Vietnam for a visit, and it was funny that one of my good friends' dads didn't even want to look at me. Couldn't believe
Really?
you would go to Vietnam. Ron was thrilled and wanted to know how everybody was. was his attitude about it. He was eager for a report, to share notes. But Mike, how did you spent most of your life commercial fishing? Is that right?
Yeah, all my life actually. This is the first year in 65 years I did not go trolling. So,
and how did it come about?
Actually, I've been a fisherman since I was 11 years old. I've been out fishing, and I didn't buy my own boat until 1970. So since 1970, this year is the first year I did not fish.
How did it come about when you were 11? How did it come about that you became a fisherman?
I had this burning desire to be a fisherman for some reason, and I talked my stepfather into taking me out. And then I became sort of like slave labor,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you didn't get paid. You
No.
worked. And the second year I fished with them, I got paid. My pay was a Mossberg 22 Magnum. It cost $35 from Sears and Roebuck.
That was your pay for the season?
Yep.
What was the understanding if you weren't being compensated at that age? Was the understanding that you were learning a trade, that you were learning a discipline? Like how did you understand the arrangement?
You were helping to support the family.
Okay.
There was no personal gain. It was just something you did.
Mm-hmm.
You're expected to. So.
And then before you bought your boat, you built one, right?
No. When I was like 16 years old or 15, I didn't have any money, and that was about the time the wild herring spawn on kelp was taking off. One of the shipwrights there was building boats for that fishery, and they built a pretty good little, like a riverboat, plywood skiff. And not having any money, my partner and I, my lifelong friend Art Kennedy, had a rowboat with a 5-horse motor on it. We used to go everywhere with it. Before he had the motor, we rowed it.
Mm-hmm.
It had double set of oarlocks, and 2 guys could row, and we could go anywhere we wanted pretty fast. But anyway, we went to Fish Egg, and used to be more lumber around in those days on the beach.
Uh-huh.
And we salvaged everything we could with more than one trip, 2x4s and stuff like that, and gathered enough so I could build a framework for a boat. And I copied Henry Nelligan's. He was the one that originally built this boat. And made a frame and scraped the money for the plywood to put on the bottom. And one of my mentors, Bud Thomas, had this 28 horsepower outboard, which he loaned to me, and I put on that, and I used that that was my first boat.
When you say that the herring fishery was taking off, what does that mean? Does that mean that the market was developing, or like the something with the
I don't know how it
fish
developed.
kind of exploded in population?
Yeah, I don't know how it developed originally, but you could see these guys picking wild herring on kelp, and we heard they were getting 10 or 15 cents a pound, or it wasn't that much.
The herring roe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's on microcystis kelp and the herring legs on it, but they were harvesting it and they were selling it. So the next year, it started to develop, and seemed like when I first did the wild harvest, it was like 50 cents a pound, or I can't remember, 25 and then 50, and then it went to $1 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
And there was so much interest that the participation grew just out of control.
Got it.
People were flying from different places, landing their plane and harvesting and putting it on the pontoons. I mean, all kinds of. So the last harvest I did the season was 20 minutes. And the quota for the Fish Egg Island area was 100 tons.
What?
So it took 20 minutes to harvest 100 tons.
Jeez.
That's you're saying 100 tons of eggs
They did.
removed, not from the fish, but removed from the kelp.
With the kelp.
With okay, so not scraped from the leaf.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
And then that fishery switched over eventually to where they seine the herring for the roe, or is that a different thing?
That's a Sitka fishery. Where I live around Fish Egg, they never did do that, but there was a seine bait fishery.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So the fishery went away. Sitka was a 50-ton wild roe-on kelp harvest. Heidelberg was 50 ton. I think they opened Sitka a second time. Craig was 100. And years later, I asked one of the biologists, John Valentine, I said, why did that fishery go away? He said it was decimating the herring.
mm-hmm.
And to this day, Heidelberg doesn't have a spawn.
Yeah.
It literally wiped it out. It wasn't that big to begin with. And Craig was decimated it still is, compared to what I remember when I was growing up. It would spawn for a couple of weeks here, there, I mean, continuous spawning. Now, it lasts about 3 days. And if you don't get your branches, which we put in the water for the herring to spawn on, if you don't get there the first day, you're not going to get good eggs. So it's that quick, and I think it's just beat down and will not recover.
Will not recover.
No, because they several years back they developed this what they call pounding, where they capture the herring and put the kelp in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then they add herring, and for like they can hold them like for 5 days, and they come out with a real thick product. And a lot of times that is a lot of times they harvest 100 tons or more, and the herring are considered dead by the department, but they do release them, but they're in pretty bad shape.
Okay.
So this pounding started in Prince William Sound, and they came down and gave lessons to the boys down in the southeast here about how to do it, and and they were selling it to the mostly Japanese and making pretty good money. But in Prince William Sound, the herring went away as well. And the biologist there, I had a chance at one of our regional advisory council meetings to ask him, what happened to the herring? Did the oil spill kill him? And he said, no. He said, the pounding did. So I don't think it's recovered yet. But they actually used to send airplanes down here, harvest microcystis kelp because it didn't grow there or not good enough quality in any case, and fly it up to Cordova or wherever they're based from, and use that in their pounds.
Wow.
Jeez. It's extreme value to this stuff
Yeah.
for someone to do that. So
So
do
now
you guys still harvest it now and sell it commercially?
No. I had a license and I got rid of it. I never could make any money at it, but there are a couple groups that probably do okay on it.
But you guys,
Still.
you
We-
said
we
you are
do-
still harvesting it
We
now
do
for personal use?
traditional, yeah,
That's personal
traditional
use.
harvest. So, one of our episodes covers traditional harvest of herring eggs, cutting down a young hemlock tree, and we submerge it in the spawn, and the herring spawn on the boughs, and then we harvest it later. So that was
But we do personal harvest on the wild kelp, which does not get as thick as what the pounds would, where they capture these herring and hold them and force them to spawn on, and it gets pretty thick.
We keep talking about, or I keep talking about Ron Layton. Ron Layton was always very upset about the herring fishery.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, he was always thought that it was ill-advised,
it is
the herring,
because it is a forage fish.
yeah.
I mean, everything, well, cohos, king salmon are dependent on herring. And I think they've been massacred. It started off back in the early 1900s, if you will. I'm not sure of the date, but they had big herring reduction plants in Chatham Straits where they'd catch all the herring and run them through the reduction plant. I don't know if they saved any of it for animal feed or what, but they wanted the herring oil.
Mm.
And all those stocks has never recovered. So we just have a few small places. Sitka seems to be doing better than anywhere else, but every place they've had a pound fishery or a heavy gillnet fishery like Kashakes, the gillnet fishery, that's all gone. Urna Sound, Hoona Sound, Cordova, all of Seymour Canal, all those have gone away. They don't have a commercial fishery there anymore.
What was when you were younger and starting out fishing? What was the first time that you were fishing for your own money, like that you were in charge, catching fish, selling the fish, and using it to support yourself, and not using it to support, like not doing it as an employee, but doing it as your own boss?
Well, I crewed on boats, trolling and seining later in my later teens, and did halibut fishing. But in 1970, I was able to save enough money to buy my own boat.
Mm-hmm. And then you did what activities did you do out of your own boat?
I trolled for salmon primarily, and I had that boat for 8 years. In the last 2 of the 8 years, I guess I did fish for halibut, but I wasn't really good at it. And then I bought a bigger boat and started. After a couple of years of owning that, I changed it over so I could fish blackcod and halibut.
Mm.
Tell them about the name your boat, Dad. And
Well, I made this deal to buy this boat, and this guy lived in Tacoma. And okay, we agreed for $12,000. So I quit my job so I could go get the boat. And then he decided, well, I'm not going to sell it. And I said, why not? Well, this guy offered me more money, and my wife's giving me a hard time. And so I wound up paying him $14,000.
Oh.
And then I went to Tacoma and brought the boat home. I can't remember what else you asked me. But,
the name.
the name of it was Franjo. It just so happened that my younger sister was Joni, and my older sister, I had 2 sisters, was Frances. And they thought, my sister Joni thought I named it after them, but I didn't, and I never did tell her any different.
It came with that name.
It came-
Are you
Franz.
serious?
And they were all, oh, he named the boat after us.
What a coincidence.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that story because when Dad got his newest troller, I thought for sure, because I saw, all the dads had named their boats after their daughters. So when he got this boat, I thought for sure he's going to name it after me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm telling everyone, well, he had a different name picked out, but then he heard that I was so excited. They named it after me.
Oh.
And I didn't find out till like 15 years later that he had a different
That
name.
you were his second choice.
I was like, oh my gosh. So I think about that. It reminds me of his first boat and that name. And
Yeah, I wonder where that came from. Because, yeah, Jennifer has an uncle, and his boat is named after his daughter, oldest daughter.
it's tradition.
Mike, can I see the tattoo on your hand? Heather explained the tattoos on her hands before. Can I see your left hand? You have the same or you have the same hook, correct?
Yeah.
You should. So he's teaching the crew how to say nach. It's in Tlingit, it's nach. That's a wood hook.
Yeah.
Well, Garrett's calling it knocks. So all last week, Mike, can I see the knocks? And my dad's like, what are you talking about? And so we had lessons, but this is the only nach we've ever retired. Sea monster. He carved it in like 1992.
And so you share that one. And then, Mike, what is your left hand?
That's a beaver raven tail. That is my clan.
Heather was telling me that, I can't remember if we talked about this before, but yeah, we did talk about this a year ago, and maybe you have recollections of it as well. That I don't know what years this would have been. That and I don't even know how it came to be, but like tribal people were discouraged from any kind of markings.
Permanent regalia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tattooing.
Where did that, like, who did, like, how,
The
or
government.
like, according to who, and how was it enforced, and how was that expressed?
I don't know all the answers to those questions, but for about 100 years, it was illegal to practice like cultural tattooing. So it would normally take place during like a kuik, which is like also known as a potlatch. So it was illegal to even have a potlatch, practice your culture, ceremonies, or, there's different words used in English or, our traditional language. And so a lot of this went away because it wasn't legal to do so. So then you see a lot of like jewelry, cuffs, carved earrings, and that way people could wear their clan crest and remove it when required too. But this is permanent regalia. This was traditionally, during a kuik or potlatch, you'd get tattooed. And so Dad and I got our clan crest tattooed, kind of as a way to reclaim what's ours. We're opposite, so you follow your mother's lineage. So I'm an eagle and he's a raven.
Okay.
So we're opposite clans. And I see a lot of this coming back. So there is a revitalization of the cultural tattooing, and even like the hand poke tattoos.
Yep.
Yeah.
So most of that was imposed by what's referred to as missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want to speak your own native language. So even when I was growing up, my mother did not teach us. I know some, but she was very fluent.
Your mother was.
Yeah. And my grandmother and my aunts, but they didn't teach kids because it really wasn't okay. They were taught that it wasn't okay.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the kids were forced to go to boarding schools in the lower 48. My mother did not go there, but she did go to Rankle Institute. But they forbade them to speak their own language there, and just basically destroyed a lot of culture. So you didn't see new totem poles for many, many years. They did start during the 3C days and the Depression days. They had the 3C program. I can't.
Civilian,
Anyway.
You mean the Civilian Conservation
Yeah.
Corps?
Yeah, so they did build some poles during that, and they paid them under that program. So that's where the original totem poles came from in Kloak.
Okay.
And they've been recarved since then, but that's where those poles came from. So there was 30 or 40 years where probably not many poles were carved at all. It just made a mess out of the culture, really, so I think. And effort is made now to try to restore some of it, but these are modern times. It's all different,
Mm-hmm.
But it is working a little bit. I can see some pride restoration in the people themselves, and I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, it really wasn't okay to be native, so I've seen a change in my lifetime. Sad as may be, but that's the attitude even natives had that were better off. Treated natives that weren't so well off, So
I don't understand.
It's like lateral violence. So
Oh, I'm sorry. I do. Yeah, I got what you're saying. You mean that well off, like natives that were well off,
treated other natives.
look
poorly.
down on the ones that weren't so well off,
Yeah.
So and I felt that when I was growing up. So I'm glad to see that not so much anymore.
You guys had showed me when we were boating around. There's a couple of interesting things you showed me over by your place. Maybe you could speak to them. One, I'll just go in the order in which we saw them. One was you showed me a location where there had been a smokehouse.
Oh yeah.
And I believe that once they kind of parceled Alaska out, being like Forest Service gets this, tribe gets this, whatever, BLM gets this, however they divided it. They went around and would kind of destroy some relics, what they regarded as relics, but what were actually like active smokehouses. Is my understanding of this correct?
That's correct, but that didn't happen till,
between the 30s and
right after statehood, I guess. That
Okay.
60s.
the Forest Service, owned X amount, most of the land. For some reason, they decided to clean up all the old smokehouses and stuff like that were on federal land, not village. Well, they didn't care about village sites. My great grandfather was chief of Tuxacan, and it was when I was a young kid. There was a lot of poles and houses that you could tell were all there and everything. When we went by, I remember seeing it on our way to Sarkar. But they logged shortly after that and logged right through the old village site, In fact, today you can see cables still laying on the ground there, and you also see garden mounds, remnants of house posts, the corner posts, There's a few of those left. But there was numerous totem poles when I was a kid. But, they're floating logging camps, and the loggers cut sections out of those and had them as ornaments on their floating camps and stuff.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, but no one cared, Today, if you did that, they'd put you in jail, I suppose. But they're more protected now, but no one cared. And they got rid of all this. One of the smokehouses was on the island. We used to go there when we were kids with that little rowboat with a 5-horse. We'd go out there and we'd hang out there. And it was big enough to where you could actually stay in there. So everybody had pretty good sized smokehouses than today. Like as big as this room.
Were the smokehouses positioned to be close to a spawning run?
Yeah.
So you could stay there, fish and smoke fish.
Well, there was old village sites there, or at least summertime fish camps. And that's a real protected place where I showed you. And there's numerous fish traps there.
Yep. That was the second thing that I was going to ask you about. When we were out, you pointed out some things that I would never, ever have noticed. But once you pointed them out, it was so obvious what I was looking at. But, and I meant to go investigate the creeks around here and look for the same clues. You pointed out canoe landings at creek mouths where the rocks are cleared away and there's actually like a little concave groove going way up the beach. You could live there your whole life if someone didn't say, like, you see, look, line up and look that way. You could live there your whole life and not realize what you were looking at. It was a place to drag a boat up.
Yeah.
Then the remnants of the fish traps, that you could also live there your whole life and just think that that's the rocks, how God laid them down. And then you show me and you're like, oh, like once you see it, you're like, oh my God, it's like they're arranged like weirs, That was very surprising to me. And I haven't looked here for that.
Almost all the creeks have those, and the ones that didn't have a good supply of rock, they drove stakes in the ground to make the fish trap. So, if there's no rock supply to do that, then they used wooden stakes. And like up in Clock Lake, there's wooden stakes up in the lake that are they've even been carbon dated. I can't remember the dates, but my good friend Steve Langdon is a professor of anthropology. He did a lot of study and pulled some of those up and had them dated. But let's see. There's a couple places where I could show you where there's actually what you call clam gardens, where the rocks were laid out and it's filled with the proper substrate, if you will, for a clam garden. And they're still visible and still clams in them today. And the otter been digging at them.
Oh, really?
But they actually practiced mariculture hundreds of years back. And a lot of the villages were close to a good clam bed. Like the one John Darrow, he referred to it as empty clamshell village at Ignis, where we found artifacts there. And the only things left is stone, but because in the wintertime it's dark and the days are short, but you could always go get clams, bad weather or whatever. There was always something you could harvest.
Do you remember from your relatives or maybe things you've heard how people dealt with the risk of paralytic shellfish poisoning when there was no government funded testing?
I was told they'd put them in their mouth and see if it
turn your mouth,
Yeah.
lips numb.
That's
and
what
then
Ron.
they'd spit them out, but that's what all the elders told me.
Ron,
They just
rub it on his
yeah.
lip.
they'd rub it on their lips and then wait. Just
But
a
on
little
the
bit.
other hand, we had colder weather, colder water, than we do have today, which is spawning a lot of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some places where there just seem to be hot all the time. And it could be in the gravel they grow in, I guess.
You mean hot with the algae?
Yeah.
We call them hot clams, like.
Yeah.
But do you know a sea otter won't eat a hot clam? They can tell.
They know.
Mm-hmm. They have like a mechanism where they can
Really?
tell.
That's why we don't eat them out of the cove, right? Or is that something else?
No, when we used to eat clams before I got too scared of shellfish poisoning. When we used to eat clams, we didn't eat clams in the cove because back then people would run these very not well functioning sewage systems into the cove.
Jimmy, you want to go get one and we'll rub it on his lip and see?
I think the tide's too high to find one, but we'll
Would you
try one
now-
when it goes down.
Yeah. Would you now eat, like, not now, but let's say, like, are you comfortable eating clams in the winter or no?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, so the testing, they test.
I mean, what do I do?
Do you
I
rub
eat-
it on your lips?
No, I eat part of one.
You do.
Yeah.
And wait how long?
If it doesn't make your lips tingle or anything, they're fine, But on the other hand, we have a clam fishery that goes on,
Yeah.
a gooey duck fishery, and they're right next door, and they're harvesting those, and they pass the test, so I see no reason why normal butter clams, when I could get them, which are all gone now, would be fine to eat. They're filtering the same water.
Yep. So you're comfortable, like if I took you over yonder right here and it was January, February, and we dug some clams, you would eat a part of one.
Yeah.
And if your lips didn't get numb, you dig in.
Yeah. If it was a good clam, I'm particular about where I dig them. I don't dig them out of the mud. I like to dig them out of a mixture of clamshell where they're nice and white and
Yep.
good color and healthy, fat clams. That's the preferred places I would dig them.
Yeah.
Do you ever use like clams as halibut bait? Do those work? Or do you?
The gooey ducks do, but I had never used them, but a friend of mine did. He had a bunch that were, I don't know what was wrong with them, but he used them for halibut bait and they work fine. But we're using that type of thing or putting clams in your crab pot to catch crab. We used to have a lot of these sunfish, you call them.
Yeah.
They all got killed by a bacteria, not a virus. That bacteria killed them. But those things would run as fast as they could to get those clams. So
Oh, is that right?
it wasn't the best bait. Yeah.
A few years ago, there's still so many down, like, they're all over the place down off Washington, the oceanic sunfish. A few years ago, there was a giant right out here in the arm, and people got video of it. They had no idea what they were looking at.
The mola?
Yeah, not around.
Aren't there some species of those that are like targeted in
Oh,
different parts of the
no.
world?
What are you talking about? Sunfish. I'm talking about these starfish that are,
Oh, sea stars.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant
Oh.
that big, that oceanic sunfish
Yeah.
that like lays on the surface.
I've seen those too.
I thought that's your top. Oh, so the sea stars. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all gone. I always heard it was a virus. It's a bacteria that
yeah,
kills.
bacteria.
Yeah, they're gone. I mean, those things are gone.
They just discovered it was a bacteria. That's new news.
Okay. I was confused because
So if you put clams in a crab pot, these sea stars, you get a crab pot full of those instead of crab. But,
like they like it better than they
they're
like
crazy
fish or
about
whatever.
clams. That's one of the mainstays that they eat.
Okay. When you said that about, you know that fish I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
they make it up here sometimes. I thought you meant that there was more before, like somehow there was more of those fish around
No.
that lay on their side and
Get in the pot.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly
Like
because
you can rub them with a brush. You can rub them with a scrub brush, and they like it. It's a crazy fish, man. I'm not joking.
I was fishing
man.
out Muson once, and one of the sunfish was on the kind of see his fin and stuff, and I thought it was a big shark. And before I saw it, it was coming right by my trolling lines, and I thought, "Oh crap, I'm gonna hit that shark," But it went right by his hind end, and nothing touched. And it was one of those big sunfish.
Okay, all right. Gosh,
I thought I was gonna run right into it, but actually, it wasn't a shark. It was a sunfish
swimming around with his fin out of the water.
Yeah, they don't have no tail on them, So,
do you do you target salmon sharks, or do you know people that do?
No.
He's very interested in salmon sharks.
I love salmon sharks.
As am I.
Yeah.
I've seen them jump out of water down at Hedda for whatever reason, just like, I don't know what they were doing, but salmon shark. And we'd catch one once in a while trolling.
I've heard they taste amazing.
I don't know. They might be, but I don't eat sharks. I've caught a lot of blue sharks and dogfish.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't. They have a urea to them,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how to deal with that. I've cut steaks and soaked it in salt water. And
No good.
no, but people do eat them,
When you were in the black cod fishing business, were you long lining black cod, or did you?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that? What was that like as a? What was that like as a business? Was that like a profitable business to be in?
It was very good for me. I started in like 84, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned into a derby. What happened was the Magnuson-Stevens Act kind of opened the door for that. Before that, the foreign longliners would come across, Japanese, Koreans, and fish black cod, and the market was really poor.
Mm-hmm.
2 bits a pound or whatever. And if you couldn't do anything else, you could go fish black cod, but the market wasn't that great. So when the 200-mile limit came in, it allowed the American fishermen to participate more. And they claimed, you're never going to catch all those cod, but Yankee ingenuity, we figured out how to catch them. I mean, way better than they did. So as we took more of the quota, they got less.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty soon they were just moved completely out because we could harvest it all. And it was actually a pretty good fishery, but because everybody wanted to jump in on the halibut and black cod fishery, they turned into derbies, and the fleet was increasing at 20% a year.
Mm-hmm.
So then the IFQ program was finally put in place to save lives, if you will, because people were literally killing themselves to get out and get their share of the quota.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, boats that shouldn't have been out there in bad weather, but they would do it, and it was costing.
Yeah.
So then the IFQ program now we have. It did stabilize things, but I have less quota than I used to catch. Like I started off with 32,000 pounds of qualified for 32,000 pounds of halibut, and I think I'm just under 9,000 now because of conservation cuts and so on. Yeah, that's a pretty bad hit too.
Mm-hmm.
What's that stand for? The IFQ?
Individual fish quota. So you actually own the quota.
Got it.
You can sell it. You can fish it.
And you can catch it when you want and not have to
have a
participate
big window.
in that opening day window.
Yeah. You have a from March till December or almost, to catch your halibut or cod. So it's a better fishery in that respect. So,
Do you mostly fish alone?
I used to do all my fishing alone except for halibut. Black cod, I had a crew, but halibut, Raymond, my boy, and I used to do that ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm old and creaky, so I go out with him, and can't say I didn't fish this year because I did. I just didn't fish salmon, but I did go get the halibut.
Do you like fishing with your boy?
Yeah, it was fun. He was tough, and he's a fisherman, which I never encouraged him to be one, but he is, so he's pretty good at it.
What was, if you were going to discourage someone from it, on what grounds would you discourage it?
It's really an unstable way to make a living. We've taken a lot of cuts, and everybody wants a piece of the pie, a bigger piece. Like the Sport Charter Group.
Yeah.
You can't have unlimited effort on a limited resource, and that's what we're seeing with that group. There's still no restriction. Anybody can get licensed up and start the charter business,
Got it.
But it is a limited resource. So the last couple of years prior to this, they had virtually an unlimited season where there was no in-season management. Say, okay, you get 20%, but we're not going to manage you in season. So they caught more than their 20%, so they took it out of the commercial trawlers.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get a second opening.
Got it.
So this year, they've changed that to where there is in-season management. So they got shut down on Kings in June sometime, and then they decided that they had 4,000 fish more coming, and so they could keep one. The non-residents could keep one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an annual limit.
Yep, we're well aware.
But that's what happened this year. That's why the restriction for the last 2 or 3 years prior to that, there was no in-season management, which was really unfair to the commercial fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just took the fish away from them to make up the difference.
In resource management, you often find that different user groups always blame other user groups.
I don't blame those guys, but my suggestion at our AC meetings is you guys should try to do a limited entry on yourselves so you have some stability in what you're doing. And your licenses would be worth a fortune.
Oh.
But you got to curb this growth somehow, just like the individual fish quota on the federal side and the limited entry on the state side for commercial seining and trolling. There's a limit of how many boats.
Yeah.
But right now, the sport commercial is totally unlimited.
Yeah.
And it's a limited amount of fish. So everybody's scrapping for a bigger piece of the pie all the time. Or at least they are. They're always lobbying for more.
The point I was going to make about that, the way different user groups, and this goes across the board, different user groups look to other user groups as the problem. But I was shocked when I was reading a report that the state put out. I would have thought, just by guessing, I would have thought in Southeast Alaska, you would see that commercial harvest on like these key species, that commercial harvest, I don't know, in my mind, I would have been like, it's got to be 90% compared to recreational harvest. But for a lot of the main target species, recreational harvest surpasses commercial harvest.
Yeah.
I had no idea because we always blame, or I was like,
Particularly on,
the commercial guys caught them all.
I know one lodge that lands more fish than the commercial fleet in Craig. So,
Yeah.
they don't talk about it anymore, but they made the brag they caught 1 million pounds or shipped out 1 million pounds of, processed fish like you did. That doesn't count all the waste stuff
That's 1 million pounds of filet.
yeah.
Skinless, boneless.
Yeah.
Really?
That's a lot.
And that's
Yeah,
more
more
than
than I thought.
That's probably 4 million in actual fish bodies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's more than the troll fleet in Craig catches and lands and sells commercially.
Huh.
So it's significant. But without that hatchery in Claw, which is licensed for 5 million eggs, they'd probably all go broke there.
Huh.
And it's funded by fishermen. So for the most part, 3% off the top goes into a hatchery enhancement.
Got it.
And that
What
supports
fish-
the
Commercial fishermen.
What fish are they hatching?
cohos. In that hatchery, it's 5 million eggs of coho eggs. And it's been fairly successful. This year is kind of, we're seeing for a 53 million prediction, I'm not seeing the fish. I see a few out here. It doesn't look too bad. There's a few scattered jumps coming inside Kasan Bay. But on the other side, it's not very good. So
I don't. This is just observational. I don't know what this year appears to be very different on a salmon situation. I don't know if there was just a very poor hatch a few years ago.
I don't know. You're saying humpies, but some of the cohos aren't showing like I think they should.
Mm-hmm.
There's king salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of king salmon. I mean, it's pretty good. We can't keep or catch them, I think on the second opening that my share is 17 fish for the second opening.
As a commercial fisherman.
Yeah.
17?
17. When I started fishing in 1970, I could fish out on the ocean from April 15th till September 20th. And I could keep king salmon the whole time. And now the king salmon season lasted, 4 or 5 days?
Huh.
So I've seen some change.
What's those 17 fish? What's one of those fish worth?
I don't even know. I didn't land a king salmon commercially this year yet. I think they're 6 1/4 pounds. So I think that's the first opening. They were paying 6 1/4 pound.
That's gutted and gilled.
So a 20-pound fish is okay.
Mm-hmm. What has it been like for you guys together as you've been working on the show you're working on? What's that been like?
I don't work on the show, but
you participate.
I've been just kind of enjoying life this year. I'm taking Heather out a lot, fish king salmon, fish halibut, hunt otter, get greens, just go after sockeyes and stuff like that.
There's a common, recurring thing that I hear Dad saying, and he goes, "I'm just the driver." So he's, anytime we give him a little responsibility, he's like, "I'm just the driver."
So this is the first time in my whole life, if you will, that I've just done what I wanted for the summer, not worry about fishing.
This is the first time I've had my dad, been able to spend summer with my dad in my whole life. So this is a special time, being able to do the show. We have an incredible group, that has joined us to capture all of these moments from, MeatEater. But we couldn't have asked for a better group. Dad and Garrett totally hit it off, and the girls are great. And this is my first summer with Dad. So he's been gone, from spring till fall fishing my whole life. So if we could catch king salmon together, just like going out in the skiff and catching king salmon, we'd get them in like before the middle of June.
Mm-hmm.
So in years past, I would catch 1 or 2 king salmon total because he'd go commercial fishing for that. So in June, I'm like, oh, I got my king for the year, and that's it, So this has been great, and yeah, thank you, Dad, because it is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot, but being able to capture some of these moments that we just wouldn't have otherwise been able to, and with my niece joined us this last round with halibut, and just being able to take up space for our culture and indigenous people, and we represent such a large group of people, but each tribe and each individual within their own community deserves to be uplifted and celebrated in their own right. And so this show is an opportunity to just get a kind of like a peek in through that window of our view.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful that we get to capture some of it.
What can you name the episodes for people so they know what to look for?
Yeah. So I believe we're going to kick off with the sea otter episode, and then we have the herring eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the herring spawn, harvesting herring eggs, and then we have a seal hunt, and we process the seal and make seal oil and the cracklings, which you've tried.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're fishing with the nuh, so the wood hooks, and then the last 2 episodes will be, I think, 2 parts, which is going to be fish camp. So dried fish, making the cold smoked strips, jarring the fish, and fermenting coho eggs. So in September, when the cohos, come in, we're going to do coho fish camp and ferment some skeins. And I'm worried about Samantha because she walks around my property like this,
plugging her nose.
And I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, there's just a lot of smells in Alaska that I've become nose blind to, and I forget everything smells.
Her compost pile is what it is.
Yeah. And Mike, will you make an appearance? Are you in all of them, or are you just driving? Like, do you talk in all of them?
Oh, he's a highlight. I
don't think so. I don't know. I just do what I do. But
I told them, my dad, the reason why I'm able to do all this stuff and know the things that I know is because my dad, through all the stuff we mentioned earlier here, he was able to still learn about, our culture and practice that even through all of those attempts to make us not anymore. And that's the greatest gift I could have ever received. And so I told, the team that I really want to highlight and uplift my dad, and he deserves all of that recognition. So I do think you're going to see a lot of him. And anytime I post anything anyway on social media, they're like, we don't want this. We want your dad. More videos of your dad. So he deserves it. He's awesome. And he's so funny, and this little subtle, dry humor is, there throughout. So I'm excited to see.
It's kind of nice. I didn't have a chance to. Heather wasn't a hunter and went out so much of this. Raymond did a lot of it. And then she moved away and came back, and she goes out with me every opportunity. And she's learned a considerable amount. much more than Raymond actually about different stuff.
Faster learner.
Because he's paying attention to the cultural part of it.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to say I was going to go king salmon fishing. It wasn't my intention just not to go. But I got COVID just days before the season opened and just knocked me totally out of the
I
game.
see.
So once I missed that part of it, I don't care about cohos. That's too much work for the amount of pay you get. And now with 17 king salmon, this doesn't get my heart started. So, so I'm just having a good time.
Yeah. How if you did go to get the 17, how long would you expect to fish to catch the 17?
One day.
Yeah.
Or not even a day.
A 1 day season.
Yeah. So the last time we had a 1 day fishery, which was 3 years ago, I got over 100.
Okay.
Dad was out there, 2 old guys. I think his crew is in his 70s too.
Yeah.
And they did so good. I think they got the most or second most out of the fleet. Dad comes back. I help Dad with all his healthcare stuff, appointments and everything. So I've learned the older he gets, 76 now, but to always book an appointment because he comes back with like a broken back or needing back surgery. So he does all his maintenance in the winter, all his repairs.
On himself.
Yeah. Or steroid injections in his hands and everything to keep him going.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of repair work. The older you get, everything hurts, I fished for many, many years. It's just like 24-hour openings on halibut, and you just spend it all at the roller hauling in fish, I got some good video of doing exactly that. But yeah, you come home and for 2 or 3 days your hounds are, but yeah, you loaded the boat and did really well, so.
I didn't learn how to hunt until I was like 28. I never hunted at all. Never shot a rifle. So that was last year. I'm just kidding. I'm 39, but I'm gonna be 29 forever.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I started hunting with my dad, I would take one of my best guy friends with me, and we'd go with him, and he packed 2 deer out at a time till he was 69 years old. And we looked at each other. I'm like, we just have to be able to pack 1 deer out until we're that old. So he's a badass, and he's tough, and it's hard to believe.
I'm a mess though.
Well, man, I appreciate that you came to talk to us, and tell people, tell everybody when can they come watch? When will they be able to watch all this stuff?
This fall, I believe in September. I don't. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah. Just go and say
I think September. I don't have a date actually, but this September, this next month.
And is it going to be called Our Way of Life for real?
Yeah.
Or is that a working title?
So it's called Our Way of Life. In our language, it's Hakustei. So, look for it. I'm excited.
It's September 29th.
Good job, Seth.
Perfect. Thank you.
And MeatEater YouTube channel and outdoor channel. So there you go. 8 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern time.
That is my first time learning this
Now
as
you
well.
know.
So
there you go.
thank you, Seth.
How fluent are you?
We're not fluent.
You're not.
Yeah. So we know some words. Dad's, my grandma was fluent, but then wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of that was lost for
Generation was skipped there.
Boarding school.
Yeah, I'm too old. I forget everything I learned. So,
yeah, I teach my nephew, what I know, and he picks it up right away. So we try to use a lot of traditional place names and words and learn new words all the time. And that's something I really would like to do, is learn our traditional language.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, but,
Is there anybody that kicks around in the village, like just speaking the tongue with someone else?
there's a few.
I think
Some of the older ladies are fluent yet.
there's classes offered too through I think it's UAS, the University of Alaska, and then through the tribe, our regional tribe.
Mm-hmm. Mike, do you call Garrett or do you call him Dirt?
He calls him fat ass because when we're on the boat, Garrett's incredible. He's right there with the camera, but we all can't be on the same side of the boat at once. But when Garrett takes one step on the boat, the whole boat tips.
He's dense.
He is. And he's not a big dude. I mean, he's fit, but finally after we were filming the first time we all met, we filmed for 3 weeks straight. So 21 days. It was a lot, and it forced us to get very comfortable with each other fast. So after a few days, my dad just started calling him a fat ass because...
Sure, I understand.
But he lost weight. So when he came back this time, we're like, hey, you're not as fat anymore. And
Well,
See, I noticed he's got a little tin of dip there, so I thought maybe him and Dirt formed a little...
Yeah, I heard about the dip in Africa.
A dip partnership. Yeah, we call it diplomacy.
It was like he gave us a detailed description and was telling my dad about how awesome it was.
Yep, diplomacy with Dirt Myth.
I call him Garrett, but we couldn't have asked for better people to work with. They're a lot of fun. Dad's got his own way of communicating. So the last day goes, I'm thinking about going fishing tomorrow, and that's like his way of inviting you.
Mm-hmm.
And Dirt goes, oh yeah, I'll go. And Samantha goes, yeah, I want to go too. And Dad just ignores her, and she goes, actually, never mind. I'm going to go to the coffee shop and get us all cream puffs tomorrow morning instead, because we could tell they just wanted to go out and hang out together.
no, it was crappy, and I think she changed her mind. But anyway.
Yeah.
So what were we doing? Oh, we were waiting for the last set of hooks. It took us a while to catch a fish. Yeah. While we're waiting, I cruised over, and we're going to see if there's any cohos here. So we did catch cohos, and I've never seen anybody get so excited as Garrett.
Uh-huh. Have you ever eaten dinner with him?
Totally.
I knew you were going to bring that up. You
Yeah.
talked about that last night.
Everything's like a brand new experience. I go, wow, look at the sun. Oh, the sunset, I go, look at the sky, so pretty tonight. Yeah.
But I've never seen anybody get so excited over catching a few cohos, And,
Yes.
so the girls were in the other boat, and they were fishing as well. And anyway.
It was a good time.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
He is.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today to talk about what you guys got coming up, and I appreciate you participating in it
Yeah.
with Heather. I appreciate you coming to discuss it with us.
And for you, one of the most fun things I do in my life is get in that boat and go cruising. And you have the right idea.
Thank you.
There you go, Jimmy.
Yeah.
That is. I spend a lot of time in there. I've had it since 91, and that's number 6 outboard on it. So,
Huh.
Hear that, Dad?
I just found, finally, I searched Craigslist for years trying to find a boat like that, and I found the same boat, 91, exact same boat.
It's the year I was born.
There's one for sale in my town right
All
now.
right. I just got to see if they got flat black paint.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to have flat black.
But when we try to mic him up, now they learn to give me the mic to give to him. And I tried to do it, and he said, I'll put this on when I'm ready. So we're like, okay, we just set it in the dash now.
We're not doing anything yet. You don't need this on for an hour before you're,
That's right.
Yeah. Was it okay?
Okay, we're done.
Yeah. He goes,
You never know what I might say. So,
exactly.
I understand.
Are we gonna skin a sea otter now?
Yeah, we're going to do it as a separate thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it
I'm
as a
worried.
separate
On the
project.
cruise over here, we saw a bunch moving in here on you. So
They're common.
I've seen more this year than
It's been
Ever.
amazing, man.
Yeah,
to
I've
watch.
never seen like it's just so recently. It's just like
Mhm.
they were just here.
It was the first one maybe 5 years ago. Now it's the first time you ever see where you can look and there's like a group of a dozen, then there's a group of 6. It
Yeah,
used to be like people would be like, I saw one, and everybody would be like, no, you did not.
We saw
And
10.
we'd argue about
Yeah.
it.
We could have thinned those when we first came here, but they must have moved out in the middle of the bay or something. You know.
They lay out deep. I don't understand it.
It's different than on our side. You go to the same spots and they're there,
Mhm.
big pods of them. But here, I marked on my Onyx where they were in the depth and how many. I try to collect data as much as I can on sea otter, but then we went back out, half hour later, and they're all gone.
Yep.
Whereas on our side, they just all stay. And if you scare them away, they'll come right back to that same
Got it.
spot.
These are nomads, man.
Mm-hmm.
As a
Yeah.
general rule, when you spook them bad, they try to get to open water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what those did.
Got it. Well, we're going to skin one on camera just so people can see. And it'll
Yeah,
be released as
a
a
lesson.
FWAP episode. FWAP!
Okay. We're ready.
Good.
Thank
Well,
you.
thanks
Thank
again
you
for
for
coming on.
having
I
us
can't wait
here.
to see it. I think people are going to love it, man.
Hope so.
I think it's going to be such because I like what the time I've had to hang out with you guys. I thought it was great.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little different. Got
Very
the same soft voice. I think I'm talking fast, and I listen to myself. I'm like, what? Is that how slow I talk? So it's going to be a little different pace, I think.
Talk just
It's
fine.
okay.
You're good.
You'll get used to
You'll
it.
be in good shape. Thank you again.
Yeah.
All right.